You're listening to the Bible Belt Bros podcast with my dad and his dumb friend. Enjoy.
Dusty, are we really still doing this, man?
Well, here's the deal. Donald Trump is president.
Trump.
So my son's impression or impersonation of Donald Trump is he'll pull out his cheeks like this and he'll look Donald Trump, like that's his.
Trust me, he did that the entire way home from church on Sunday.
So
He would go, Donald Trump, Donald Duck, Donald Trump, Donald Duck.
Donald Duck. That's so funny. Oh man, but here's the deal. Donald Trump is president. People are freaking out. We gotta calm them down. So
I know, he's been in the office, a week? And the earth still hasn't exploded.
oh my gosh,
I'm waiting.
we're still here. So yes, Andrew, to answer your question, I think we're still doing this. We've got some more stuff to talk about and got some more guests that have been begging us to come on. And I don't know why, because there's only like 15 people that listen. But
Those 15 want their minute of fame.
yeah, I
Not
guess
even 15 minutes
Not-
of fame. It's just a minute.
just a minute. So
It's really not even fame. I guess it's fame among 15 people.
they might probably just pride. They want to listen to their own voices on iTunes and be like, "That's me.
Gotcha.
That's how awesome I am." So
I don't even want to listen to my own voice.
I
when
know.
sing.
I never listen to him again because I say too many stupid things. So we're back, and so today on the podcast we're gonna calm you guys down on this whole Donald Trump being president stuff. I got a new game for us, Andrew. I think you're gonna
Ooh.
like it.
A game?
A game.
Heck yeah.
And so, also, we might talk a little bit about fantasy, my fantasy budget, and how that's working out for me, and this upcoming Super Bowl. But first, to let you know, we got new intro music from our friend's band Ricardo Sanchez and his band Jun Falls. They are pretty awesome people, and I cut out the music before they start screaming. But they're really good if you're into that kind of scream rock, I guess underground kind of sound. It's actually very well done. So,
And if you want the full song, just hit us up. We'll get you it.
well, they'll have to pay for it first.
It's fine. But we'll get
They even
you
sell
in-
cassette tapes if you have a car with a cassette tape. So
Do they sell vinyls?
they don't sell vinyls yet. They're
All they gotta do is go up to the music store and have it
well.
converted.
Let's just go
Come on
talk to
now.
them, and we'll yeah.
Jeez.
All right. Enjoy.
All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is Trump
Don't Trump.
and the feminist movement.
Well, yeah, so all these people upset, marching on day one. And I saw this video on YouTube of this dude, and he was like, "What are you guys marching for? He hasn't done anything yet." He's like just getting in the office. It was pretty funny.
I know, and of all the places that they decided to destroy, they destroy Starbucks.
Well, that
And
wasn't the feminist movement,
make
though.
them
That
work.
was something completely different. But
yeah, that's just right.
But yes, there was riots going on the day of the inauguration that destroyed companies and stuff that supported Hillary Clinton as president.
Yeah.
So it was just like, come on, guys. That's where it's stupid. Like, man, there's so many people that are rioting just because
All right.
they can riot.
All right.
Then they're
they don't
making
have anything to say. They just want to be destructive.
exactly, and so that's taking away from what people are feeling during this election.
Such as the feminist movement.
Right, and so they marched, and you got, was it Madama dropping F-bombs and
And
stuff?
threatening to blow up the White House.
Yeah, threatening to blow up the White House. You had like 24-hour, or not 24-hour, it wasn't a 24-hour thing, but you had hours of coverage on all multiple media networks and stuff, and you're just following everything that's going on, which is going to be funny. I think today, which we're recording this on a Monday, or no, I think on Monday, there's a pro-life march going to be in Washington, D.C., so I'm really interested to see how much coverage there will be of that on the news.
Probably just Fox News.
Probably just Fox News, and for 30 minutes. Because they'll go back to Donald Trump. Obviously, there's people upset, and it's a lot of people in Hollywood and in New York City stuff. There's a lot of people that are butthurt about the election.
I mean, those are both liberal cities that you just mentioned. So. Get into more of a rural state, such as Oklahoma, we're not butthurt.
Well, I didn't vote for Trump personally. I didn't vote for Hillary, but I didn't vote for Trump. So,
hey, a vote not for Trump is against Trump, Dusty.
Yeah, in Oklahoma. But, I mean, it was like, obviously, Oklahoma is Republican no matter what. There was not even a shot at Hillary winning. I don't even know if she ever even came to Oklahoma. She's just like,
I doubt it.
Forget this. Like, Donald Trump was here a couple times, but...
For no reason. I mean, he already won it.
Yeah, exactly. He's just doing his publicity tour for his show.
He was doing his pre-thank you for voting for me.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like a... Because he came back twice, I think, because they sold out one of the centers that he was at in Tulsa, and so he came back again for those that weren't able to make it to the first rally, which is kind of cool, but whatever. But I saw a stat that 1 in 5 people, or 1 in 5 women in America consider themselves a feminist, or align themselves with being a feminist, though 85% of women in America believe in inequality between the genders. And so it's just kind of this movement or feminist movement, because there was women that had pro-life signs and stuff at the feminist movement that were asked to like leave or take their signs down, and I was just like, wait a minute, they're fighting for their rights just as much as you're fighting for your rights. So it's that stat there just kind of shows you that the feminist movement isn't what it was when my grandma marched, taking off their bras and throwing them or whatever they did back then.
Burning
their bras, whatever. That was a different concert my grandma was at, probably.
Let's not talk about your grandma taking her bra off.
Okay. But, I saw some posts of some grandmas out there, and they were like, we did this a long time ago, and there's a lot of things have changed since then. And, yeah, there's still some room to grow as far as the equality issue goes and racism and all those kind of things. But I think really the feminist movement has become more of like a pro-choice movement more than anything.
It really has. That's what people label feminism as anymore.
Yeah, and really that's not. Like, feminist is trying to, have equal rights between man and woman. So it's just kind of...
All right, it really started out of them wanting the right to vote. So I gave it to them.
Well, and there's more. Like, I've had women bosses. I can't say that they've been pleasant experiences, but I've worked in offices that were ran by no men, basically. There was no men managers. It was all women managers. And I don't work there anymore. Not because of the inequality stuff, but because there was so much drama in that office.
It really is.
To be completely honest, like, it was ridiculous. It was so stressful being there, and so I left. It wasn't worth the money. And I think most of my friends that have worked there, man and woman, have left that job. So I'm trying to get some. It was at AT&T, and I was trying to get some discounts on some stuff, and I was like, dude, I have no connections at AT&T anymore. Like, everybody I worked for or with isn't even there. Even some of the managers are gone. Like, they couldn't even handle it. They were just like out. But one good thing Donald Trump has done for us, Andrew, he's signed some executive orders.
Oh yeah.
He's all about signing whatever's in front of his face right now.
His signature is so... Have you seen his signature?
Yeah, it's so weird.
So fancy.
So dainty. But for us in Oklahoma, the pipeline stuff is pretty huge for us.
Massive for Oklahoma.
Just the amount of jobs that it creates just in our area, and we're pretty hurting right now when it comes to oil and gas, and lots of the smaller companies have died out, and so it's only the big chains that are kind of left here, and they're even some of them are moving out. So
Oh, you know what? I just thought about this. One of the executive orders Obama signed and talked about was if we're going to build in America, we're going to build in America and buy from America. Isn't your wife's company Canadian?
well, their parent company is Canadian because they were bought out.
Right. I don't think they'd get the contract in Trump's scenario then.
Possible. I mean, they're still like, I don't know. I mean, it's still an American company, I guess. Like they're financed and stuff by a Canadian company.
That's-
but
yeah.
They're still their own entity in America.
Yeah, but in the end, all the money would go back to Canada.
Well, they're pipe and supply, so I don't know how that makes it.
Well, Trump was saying we're going to build our pipes in America. We're going to buy our pipes in America.
Yeah,
we're going to
which-
build our pipelines in America.
They sell them. I mean,
But do they
her
build them
company
here?
buys them from companies in America, and they sell them in America. It's founded as an American company. They just,
You're right. I know your
Yeah,
her company was.
I really don't know
originally-
how all that works. I don't know.
Me neither.
My wife's in accounting. She don't know that probably either.
But see, I just thought about that because if the money eventually goes back to Canada, that's exactly opposite of what Trump wants.
We're already isn't like 2/3 of the oil that we get still is imported from.
Well, yeah, Trump's only been in the office for a week, man.
I know, but I'm just saying, like that's the one of the issues right there. Syria is selling it at basically next to nothing. They're not. Their
Right.
only reason they're selling oil at cost is they're trying to purposely ruin our economy, and it's been working. And we just continue to allow
I
them.
don't know.
to do it.
I like the low gas prices.
Yeah,
I'll admit.
that's kind of the if I didn't work in oil or wasn't directly affected by that, then yeah, like saving 20 cents or even $1 every time I fill up my tank.
Yeah, but you drive a dainty car.
I don't drive very far anymore.
I drive a big truck, and it was costing me right at or a little over $100 fill up. So
Stop driving a truck.
now I like you stop driving a dainty car.
Stop driving a truck. So, anyways, that's somewhat exciting. And the executive order wasn't like we're just gonna like build it.
Yeah,
No, we're gonna renegotiate terms. Which that's funny about the Dakota stuff is that stuff was all negotiated and agreed upon.
right.
The people that are protesting have.
And it's not even going across like they say it is. It's like 30 miles outside of the reservation.
Right, so it's just silly. But my wife did ask me, like, so what do you think God's view is on just global warming and all this kind of stuff? And I was just, my thought was, I don't think God's gonna we're gonna global warming, right? We're gonna destroy the world in like 100 or like 1,000 years or something
In a
like
million
that.
years, yeah.
Like the world will cease to exist. And I
We'll
think
flood
God's
again.
I think Jesus is going to come back before then, hopefully. But I don't think Jesus is going to be like come back and be like, "Holy crap, where's everybody at?" Like the world had ended before Jesus came back.
Where'd all the ice go?
Yeah, where's the people? Like I was supposed to people were supposed to meet me in the clouds. Anybody know what's going on here? Like no, that's not like.
Well, no, we still would because we'd be dead, and so we'd still raise up. And no, actually, we wouldn't.
our bodies. Yeah,
Right.
that's the whole.
Yeah,
Do you get cremated or do you get buried thing? Even though our bodies are dust anyway.
right.
But so God is still in control of the situation. But I told my wife, I was like, if you were to believe that God didn't want us to build the pipelines because it's destroying natural habitats and stuff, then you should also believe that we shouldn't be driving cars because we build those pipelines to drive those cars that are also polluting the earth. Like we should be Amish,
Right.
if you're gonna go that way, no electricity, no. And I believe that there's better ways and cleaner ways and cheaper ways to have natural resources that we could be using for cars and electricity and stuff. I just don't think we do that in America or other countries because there's so much money in it.
Well, actually, a good friend of ours, JD in Missouri, he's all in the solar business. He sells solar. He's got Missouri pretty much wrapped up. It's just and California's heavy on that. And then Oklahoma, as you go out west, we have wind turbines.
But those are like a very small percentage of the natural
Well, yeah,
energy
because
use.
because we're just so dependent on the oil.
But we're dependent on the oil because there's so much money on the oil.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of money in solar too. Just nobody's exploiting it like they are oil.
Right.
Because oil
Yes,
isn't just
I
meant for
agree.
gas. Oil also makes our products like plastic and aluminum cans and chairs. I mean, oil is used for everything, which is why it's exploited.
I mean, I agree with that statement, but at the same time, I mean, we could be much cleaner, much better. But if you were to believe that the pipeline is like a terrible thing, then why are you still driving a car that runs off of
Right.
gas?
And then, see, people also have to understand we're not just doing it to make gas. Because oil, like I was saying earlier, oil is used in every product we have and everything we use. I mean, shoot, women's makeup has oil in it.
What? No.
So, I mean, if people want to stop using oil, okay, well, you gotta get rid of your makeup, you gotta get rid of your cars, you gotta get rid of your worldly possessions, because everything uses oil.
One last thing, the market's looking pretty good after Donald Trump.
Ooh, you're right. First time ever in the history of the Dow, it breaks 20,000. And then the next day, maybe even the same day, first time ever, it closes over 20,000.
So things are
Drastically improving
improved
already.
Like, short term, but yeah.
And the Dow started going up after Trump won the nomination, or after he won the presidency. It didn't go up while he was still in the election.
Right.
It's after he became president-elect, the very next day, the Dow started going up and closing at record highs. And now after Trump takes the office, it finally breaks 20,000 for the first time ever. And it's all because Trump is he's financially minded, he's set
Focused.
on making, there we go. He's focused on making America financially stable. He would be the only person I can see getting us out of this trillions of dollars of debt in 4 years.
In 4
years. I could see him.
Way.
Because he's bringing all the jobs back to America. He's going to be imposing tariffs. He's taken us out of trade treaties that were only detrimental to our society. I mean, like that Trans-Pacific Treaty we were in.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I mean, he stopped giving money. I mean, we were giving $4 billion to Pakistan, and he immediately signed an executive order saying no. I mean, why are we giving money to Arab nations that just want to blow us up?
Exactly. Wasn't that what some people think were in some of those emails with Clinton was they were providing missiles that were used
To attack us?
to basically, end up being used to attack us. That's pretty interesting.
So, I mean, immediately Trump goes after our deficit. On day one, he went after our deficit. Actually, day one. Well, yeah, he did go after our deficit because he went after Obamacare on day one.
And to me, another thing that just bugs the crap out of me, and again, I didn't even vote for the guy, and I would have voted for a woman president, just not Hillary Clinton. That was
Right.
the worst thing the Democrats did was, like, Bernie Sanders, I think, would have beat Donald Trump. I feel like there's enough people that would have switched.
Yeah, well, I don't think so because then they would have created a socialist America.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would have been the
And
argument.
I don't think that there was any way a socialist.
There's not
would
much a
win.
president really does. Like, they don't make a huge change.
They get us in a bunch of financial debt.
Just a bunch of financial.
That's it.
To get anything done, they have to sell out so much. But the memes, like the picture that they took of the inauguration, and it was like 9 a.m. And
Right.
they're like, look at all these people that showed up to Trump's thing. Well, like they took the picture before it even started, like hours before it even started. And then there was like the meme of like you can tell about so much about a man how he treats his wife, and it shows like Donald Trump walking into a building in front of his wife, and like Obama, who I mean is a ladies' man, like he's
Walking
being
in.
last,
Right.
he's letting the girls go first. But if they continued the video, Trump stops and allows his wife and everybody to go in. So it was just kind of like, golly, like, come on, people.
Well,
And I know that's on both sides. We've done stuff about Obama and complained about Obama. We didn't riot and destroy
Right.
property, but
because you notice also, look at how every time Trump came upon a soldier, he immediately saluted, whereas Obama just walks on by. Still, to this day,
It's a
8 years later,
nerdy salute, but it's still
it's still a salute. He presented a salute, which is the proper respect,
Right.
where Obama, 8 years after being president, still just walks by him.
Not everyone, but a lot
There
of times
were
he still
very
does.
few he saluted. It's like he knew who the top dogs were there, so he saluted those guys, but the lower guys he didn't salute. And so, and it's the higher guys who don't hold a proper salute. They bring their hand up and then lower them. It's like, really, dude? It's the lower guys that hold the proper salutes. Anyway, so that's just
I know
getting on
nothing
that.
about saluting.
I did. Anyways, I wanted to talk about that whole Obama picture, or the inauguration picture.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, Obama is going to have more. He was the first black president.
Yeah, it's a
Shoot,
major
there were
thing.
even Republicans there at Obama's.
Yeah.
Because it's a historic event. But not only that,
Jay-Z said we turned the White House black, baby.
exactly, and look at who performed at his inaugural concert. He had Beyonce there. I believe he had Jay-Z there. I mean, and then Trump has a, what was that show, that real popular show about musicians and trying to make them famous here?
American Idol?
Yeah, there we go. He had a runner-up for American Idol
Yeah.
perform for him. It's like, so did people go for Obama, or did they go for the headliners for Beyonce and all that? I mean, yeah, of course, majority of them went for Obama because he was the first black president. And it's a very historic event. I mean, shoot, I wouldn't have gone because, well, I just don't care about that. But I mean, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And the only Democrats at Trump's inauguration were rioting. So
Right, and that's what's really weird about it. But I guess this is the first time America has gone black and then gone back. So
just proves once you go black, you can go back.
yeah, when your option is Ben Carson,
Hey, I would have loved Ben Carson.
he's a good guy.
I would have loved.
He's not charismatic enough to win a popularity contest. So
He's not aggressive enough to win the presidency. He's too nice, which is why I like him.
okay, Andrew, I got a new game for us.
Oh,
And guess what? I also got intro music. So, yeah, tell me if this sounds familiar.
Well, she sneaks around the world from Kiev to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. She'll take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me, where in the world is
That in the Bible.
That was Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
No, it's Where in the World is that in the Bible? You never heard that before?
No,
Yeah, that was great.
that voiceover?
What voiceover? There's no voiceover.
What
I
in
don't
the
know-
world?
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, here is 10 questions. We'll basically take turns. You answer 5, I answer 5, and the winner gets nothing because we're low budget. So
There we go.
here we go. I will start first. The second death has no power over A, the law, those under the law, B, the first resurrection, C, those who remove their wedding garment, D, the awakened in the resurrection. Maybe I should have gave you this one. The second death has no power over.
Wait, what is the second death?
I have no idea, so I'm guessing. There's also a time limit on this, so I gotta hurry up. I'm gonna say the first resurrection.
That is in Revelations 2014.
I'm just gonna say can't be their wedding garment.
The lake of fire is the second death.
Bible. Resurrection. Yes, the resurrection. The first resurrection. Revelation 26. All right, Andrew. Here's your question. From our Lord's parable, what did the man do that found the treasure hidden in the field? A. Builds a house on that field. B. Sells everything and buys that field. C tells everybody about this, or D digs it to find it?
I believe he sold everything to buy that field.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Correct. 1-1. All right.
That in the Bible.
According to Acts 17:18, what was Paul preaching in Athens besides Jesus? I'm gonna say,
What are the options?
salvation, repentance, the resurrection, or destruction.
Oh, this is easy.
What? He preached Jesus and salvation,
I think it's distraction.
the resurrection.
Ooh. All right.
All right. Crap. Okay, Andrew, what gospel is specifically mentioned to be written in chronological order? Matthew, Mark, Luke, or
That in
John?
the Bible.
Golly, I don't know. You know, I've been going over Luke for a
That
long
in the
time,
Bible.
and it does seem to almost be chronological.
That
Cool.
in the Bible.
How much time do I have?
Not enough time to look it up. You can't Google
No,
it.
no. Do I have more than 10 seconds?
Yes.
Let's see. Matthew.
That in the Bible.
Matthew just seemed to jump all over the place, but it is the first book of the Bible, or first book of the New Testament. But man, I keep coming back to Luke. Maybe because I've been in Luke for, over a year now,
That in the Bible.
trying to study it. Let's go with. Oh man.
Come on.
In
Let's
the
go with Luke.
Bible.
Final answer.
I think that's right.
That in
Luke
the
is
Bible.
Yes.
correct. Luke 1:3. I don't know.
That in
All right,
the
so
Bible.
1-2. You're winning. All right. Oh crap. What kept Adam and Eve from returning to the Garden of Eden? Cherubim. I don't know. Somebody's gonna make fun of me for saying that wrong. With a flaming sword. Cherubim with a double-edged sword. An angel with the fiery spear. An archangel with the scroll. I'm gonna say flaming sword.
I think it's one of the angels.
Flaming sword is
Ooh.
correct. Boom. 2-2. All right. What is the seventh church in Asia? Which pictures the present church? Good luck. What is the seventh church in Asia which pictures the present church? I don't even know how to say all these. Thyatira, Laodicea, Smyrna.
Let's just go with Laodicea.
That's the only one I know.
It's the only one I recognize.
It is Laodicea. Congratulations.
It is the only name I would recognize on there.
All right, so 2-3.
That in the Bible.
According to Psalms 119:9, how does a young man keep his way clean, pure? Actually, that's the verses. How can a young man keep his way pure? And it's by living according to his word. So take heed according to his word, keeping the 10 commandments,
That
not
in
forsaking
the
the
Bible.
assembling together or being baptized by the Spirit. I have that verse memorized because I tried to memorize 119, which is like 4 pages, and I only got to like verse 15, so this got us good. Take heed according to his word. That is correct. 3-3. Who was the first person to see the risen Lord? Mary Magdalene, Peter, Thomas, Matthew. This is
That
so
in
easy.
the Bible.
Yet I don't know it. I think it's Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, because women's rights. Mary Magdalene. She was the first one. That was like a huge thing.
Right, because
Normally,
she
like-
ran back and pounded on the door.
Well, and normally in the Bible in those
Oh,
times,
and
like
women-
they didn't even
right.
recognize women being in places. So,
Right.
Boom. All right, you're still up by 1.
Isn't this your final question? This is question 9, right?
It's 7. Yeah, it's 9. All right, my final question. Philip also heard Jesus say, "Follow me." Where were the other 2 disciples who were from the same town as Philip?
That in the Bible.
Andrew and Peter, James and John, Matthew, Nathaniel, Thomas, and
That
Judas.
in the Bible.
I'm gonna say Philip,
That in the Bible.
James, and John.
It's Andrew.
That.
It is Andrew and Peter.
How'd you not know this?
I don't know. There's
Philip lives across the river from us, man.
That in the Bible.
Hey, I win!
you win.
No matter what! Alright, give me my
All
final
right, how
question.
many chapters are in Joshua?
That in the Bible.
25, 27, 24, 30.
Dang.
That
I was
in the
thinking
Bible.
37. Let's go with 27.
27 is
That in
not
the
right.
Bible.
Hey!
24.
I missed one!
Congratulations,
That in the
Andrew.
Bible.
I'm the Bible
You're
scholar!
the Bible Belt Bro Scholar.
And that means this is a sad show.
Yeah, well, that was fun. Until next time, we just played.
Where in the world
that in the Bible?
All right, Dusty, let's talk about this Super Bowl that's coming.
All right. Well, the Super Bowl, I am protesting because I do not agree with the outcome of the Packers and Falcons game.
I don't agree with the Dallas outcome.
I don't agree with it. I don't. I did not vote for it, so this is not my Super Bowl.
I just want to know, how is New England going to cheat this time? Are they going to try the deflate gate again?
That's the only thing that kind of interests me with the Patriots winning is him being on stage with the NFL commissioner, because the NFL commissioner has avoided everything. He hasn't gone to any playoff game in New England or with the New England team because of security. Though we have football games being played after terrorist attacks, but yet he can't go because he made some people mad. So that's the thing. Even at the Steelers Patriots game, whoever won that game was going to set a record for most appearances in a Super Bowl. So like you would think that the commissioner would be at that game, but no, he stayed in Atlanta to watch Atlanta play 2 weeks in a row. So it was just kind of like, this guy's a scaredy cat. So if we could see him on stage, just that awkward moment would be pretty good TV, I think.
I just seriously want to know what this year's scandal will be. Are they going to be caught recording or filming the other team's plays again?
I don't know. Well, I mean, Atlanta has had issues, and I would like an investigation on the Packers game because they've had issues of bumping in fake crowd noise over the PA system to make it louder in their stadium.
How'd you like that flop? I didn't know LeBron played football.
I know, right? Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Aaron Rodgers is pretty strong. If he could just, barely nudge him and dude goes flying into a referee.
And so, I mean, been a Packers fan most of my life, and my wife's a Packers fan, mainly because she had a crush on Brett Favre, but whatever. Yeah, it was kind of rough. It was hard to watch, for sure.
Well, this season, I have been a bandwagon fan.
You are a bandwagon fan every season.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I have one team
that
I love.
You say you're a Niners fan.
Niners suck, though. So, I mean, I got to root on somebody. Yeah, but obviously this year I couldn't pull myself to root for the Niners because of Kaepernick. Next year when he's gone and we have Shanahan coaching, I will be a Niners fan again.
Until, like, the fourth game of the season when they're 0-4.
And the Cowboys are doing good again. Actually, no, I can never root on the Cowboys, except for this year because, well...
Did you see that meme with Donald Trump where it was like,
yes,
executive order, the Dallas Cowboys are no longer America's team?
Yes, I saw that.
So good.
I laughed at that one. So I can't root on the Packers, and I can't root on the Cowboys. Packers or Cowboys. Those are against my religion as a Niners fan.
Why not the Packers?
Because the Packers have beat the Niners too many times in Super Bowls.
So, okay, I don't like the Broncos, and it's kind of the same thing. John Elway.
Same reason we can't like the Cowboys, because in the early 90s, it was always the Cowboys or Niners in the Super Bowl. And the Cowboys we beat them Cowboys, and they would beat us, and so it's just a rivalry.
At my church that meets at my house on Wednesdays, we did we're talking about, like, what the church would look like if the Holy Spirit was really leading the church all the time, and it was brought up that we would be the Patriots of religion or whatever.
Let me guess who said that.
Yeah. A guy who's a Patriots fan. But we'd be the Patriots of religion, where we will win a lot. We'll take underrated players and develop them. People that the world has dropped, and they would become,
Wouldn't we actually be the Steelers then? Because the Steelers have more Super Bowl rings.
No, but what I'm saying,
they win more.
What I'm saying, they didn't win now, so it don't apply.
No, it still applies. They still have more rings.
But he was saying, people would hate us because we're so good, that type of thing. But the fun fact, the Cleveland Browns, the worst team in the league, there's more cut players from the Cleveland Browns that are on Super Bowl teams than any other team right now.
That's awesome.
It just tells you, like, it's about developing players. Like you can't, like, the Cleveland Browns get the first draft picks and they cannot do anything with them because they can't develop people.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like in baseball too. You know, the Royals. Royals have had so many players that they've cut, and they were star players with the Royals, but they cut them because they couldn't develop them, and they'd go on to like the Cardinals or the Yankees or Red Sox, and they'd win championships. So yeah.
And final
All about
thought
development.
here, Andrew. Fantasy wise, I went all in on Aaron Rodgers, like in the Atlanta game, and I lost. So I'm waiting for my wife to buy a new Audible book from Audible.com, who's not a sponsor of us. So, because anytime she buys an Audible book, she puts that same amount of money into my FanDuel account. So I am waiting for her to make a spur of the moment purchase. So I'm
Man.
also sending her book suggestions.
That's
Just
awesome.
trying to push that forward.
Right.
You know.
How could you go all in, bro?
Well, it was just, I mean, it was one of those, like, it's the last game of the season, like,
Obviously not. There's Super Bowl.
well, last game you can play fantasy, you have to have at least
okay.
two games. So it's one of the, like, when there's less than 6 games on a spread, the less games, the more risk, because you have to get, like, people exactly right, you know? And so I had Julio Jones,
Smart.
but I did not have Chris Hogan, who, for the Patriots, who had, like, basically 2 catches and 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like you can't bet on a guy who just has 2 catches.
And obviously you didn't have Matt Ryan.
Not paired with... I had Bell. Bell is really what killed me, because Le'Veon Bell got hurt in the first quarter. There is a
Why would you go
there
with
is a
Le'Veon?
scandal because the Pittsburgh Steelers, their hotel had the fire alarm pulled at like 2 a.m. and so they didn't get the proper sleep.
Really?
Yeah, some guy went to jail for it, but I'm sure he's going like, dude, I'm the reason the Patriots are in the Super Bowl because I pulled that fire alarm.
Yeah, Patriots probably paid him.
Probably, or at least they're paying him now. He's on
Yep.
staff. He's an assistant coach.
Of developing players.
Anyways, guys, stay safe. Donald Trump is president. but
Trump.
We're also still here. And so let's just try to live a life of love and not of hate.
Wouldn't that be a life of Riley?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me neither, but my wife says it all the time.
Okay. I'm cutting that out.
Take it easy, guys.